I'm Eric Parker. This morning on CT21, big changes coming as the governor plans to lift most pandemic restrictions on Wednesday, and the rules on wearing masks have changed. We're talking about these next steps towards normalcy. We'll also discuss getting kids vaccinated, as those over the age of 12 are now eligible. The governor and our state's COO, Josh Geballe, are joining us. Plus, we're talking about the pandemic's impact on baseball and softball with the head of Little League in Connecticut. It's all this Sunday, May 16th. CT21 starts right now.
From Channel 3, this is Connecticut's most watched current affairs program, CT21, with Eric Parker. Sponsored by Hartford Healthcare.
This is it right here. Executive Order number 7. It was issued March 10th of 2020. It was the first time Governor Ned Lamont took formal action because of the pandemic, issuing restrictions that included limiting the number of people allowed at events and venues to no more than 250. As we know, over the following months, those restrictions tightened. On Wednesday, most are going away. We spoke with the governor earlier today, and we'll bring you that conversation shortly. But we begin our program with Connecticut's Chief Operating Officer, Josh Geballe. Josh, thanks for being with us once again. And I think the big question everyone wants to know is, what can they expect on the 19th? What will the changes be?
Sure. Well, good morning, Eric. On the 19th, the changes are going to bring us back mostly to where we were before that first executive order 14 months ago. So no more restrictions on businesses, on gathering sizes. It's really mostly back to normal for people. There'll be some exceptions to that. We're still going to need masks indoors in certain settings, and certainly for unvaccinated people, we're going to continue to need masks. But for the most part, we're getting back to our new normal.
I want to ask you about masks, because that was a big part of the news over this past week, was that the mask rules were changing. And the governor had said that he wasn't ready to change the mask rules just yet, and then he changed his mind. Why did he change his mind?
Well, I think he signaled for several weeks that by the time we got to the 19th, we'd certainly be looking to remove the mask mandate with regards to activities outside. And with the support of the recent CDC announcements a couple days ago, we're also moving forward with relaxing the mask mandates for vaccinated people inside in most circumstances, not all. Still going to need masks from everyone in healthcare settings, hospitals, nursing homes, mass transportation, schools, a few places like that.
Now, if you go into a business, will you'll be looking for a sign to see if you're supposed to be wearing a mask? I mean, does this get confusing to have it in some circumstances and others? I think that's one of the things the governor said he was trying to avoid, and now it's a little bit different depending on where you are.
It could be, but we do want to make sure that businesses and other organizations have the right to set rules. If they'd like to continue to have masks required for all people coming into their business, their supermarket, et cetera, that will be their option. The governor's made that clear. And I think for a lot of formats, that's going to make people more comfortable, at least in the short run, as we transition to this new normal.
One of the things that you mentioned it, and it was mentioned in the CDC guidelines, is that difference between vaccinated and unvaccinated people. A lot of parents watching this program, Josh, who have kids who are, and we'll talk about the new ones who are eligible, but kids who are too young to have vaccines. So they should still have masks on. The parents don't have to. What's the breakdown there?
Sure. Well, again, outside, the determination is that it's safe enough for everyone to take their mask off, including kids. So that has a big impact on youth sports, summer camps. I think it's going to really help kids get back to, a better environment as we get into the summer here. Indoors, though, unvaccinated, including kids, are going to need to keep their masks on when they're at school, when they're in other activities. So that's going to need to continue a little while longer.
Let's talk about those additional kids who are able to get the vaccine. 12 and up will now be eligible. How does that change the metric, and what will you be watching for in the numbers? Obviously, the more people who are eligible, the more who may get the shot, and the closer we are to herd immunity, right?
That's exactly right. So there's 177,000 children between the ages of 12 and 15. So it gives us an opportunity to put another big dent in our, the remaining group of people who are not yet vaccinated. But, we're already at 72% of all adults have gotten their first dose. 58% of all adults have been fully vaccinated. That's #1 in the nation. So we're well on our way, but we're excited about getting these adolescents vaccinated as well.
And are you hearing any guidance on when that may even creep lower? And we may have, is the hope that maybe by the time kids go back to school in the fall, even more of them will be eligible?
At this point, it sounds unlikely that there'll be, additional authorization down below the age of 12 by the time we go back to school next year. But we're hopeful we'll have, the 12 and up very thoroughly vaccinated, and we'll deal with the next school year as we get closer in the summer.
What are you hoping, and what's the governor hoping this change is going to mean? Obviously, you talked about getting back to something closer to normal. Is there still expected to be some hesitancy? I mean, some people might just say, Josh, I'm not ready for that. Is that one of the things that you'll be dealing with?
Sure. The confidence is a big issue right now. There's a lot of people who are still very, concerned and nervous, and understandably so. I think you'll see a lot of people continue to wear masks on their own, and that's obviously perfectly fine. But confidence is important. It's important for our business, for our economy. We still have a lot of people looking for work, trying to build our economy back, recreate those jobs. And there's there's just the mental health side of this as well, right? We've been dealing with an unbelievable challenge over the last 14 months. And we're just thrilled that we'll have an opportunity for people to get back to the things that they love in the coming weeks.
And moving forward, do you worry that the choice to wear a mask may become a political decision? Because obviously it's been politicized in some groups, and now instead of just a blanket rule, now there's some yes, some no. Do you worry about that?
Well, look, I think as the governor's pointed out many times, we have a lot of confidence in the people of Connecticut to use their common sense, understand certain environments that may be a little risky, where they may feel uncomfortable, they may want to wear their mask, and that's perfectly fine and should be embraced. And we hope everybody will be supportive and tolerant of those choices that people want to make.
All right. Well, Josh Geballe, we appreciate you being with us, the Chief Operating Officer for the state of Connecticut. We appreciate you being with us once again here on CT21. I'm sure we'll be talking with you down the road.
Thanks, Eric.